Hi, I'm Harper.
And I'm Hugh, and we'll be going over a beginner's guide to assessing fitness levels.
Today I will be going over flexibility and the FIT principle.
And I'll be going over strength and body composition.
What is flexibility? Flexibility is a range of motion in a joint or a group of joints without causing injury. So how do you get flexible? Well, obvious answer is stretching, but what type of stretching? There are 3 types of stretching. You have static, dynamic, and ballistic. Ballistic consists of bouncing movements. Dynamic consists of more mobile movements such as leg swings and arm circles. And then you have static, which is your stationary stretch that you would do at the end of a heavy lift or run. Stretching has mental and physical benefits. Some of the mental benefits is that stretching is an anti-stressor exercise. It helps release endorphins, lower your breathing rate, improving your mood, and promotes relaxation. The physical benefits is posture alignment, lower blood pressure, and muscles can recontract to their original length. Now, if you're a beginner and you want to know how flexible you are, there are 2 different types of assessments that you can practice. Modified sit and reach test, a finger touch test. To assess in the modified sit and reach test, you will first begin warming up using a band to activate your shoulder muscles. You will then remove your shoes, and then you're going to sit with hips, back, and head aligned with a wall. Put your feet in dorsal flex against your box or your AccuFlex. Place hands on top of each other and reach forward as far as possible without removing the hips, head, and back from the wall. Your partner will slide an indicator until it reaches the tips of your fingers and hold it firmly in place. Now that you're set, bring your head, back, and hips off the wall, reaching forward as far as you can 3 times. And on that 3rd reach, hold it for 2 seconds as your partner records the length with the yardstick. When recording your results, record to the nearest 1/2 inch. To assess the finger touch test, again, you will warm up your shoulders using a band. Then you will reach your right hand as far down your back as you can, simultaneously reaching your left hand with your palm out, up your back as far as you can. The objective is to get your fingers to touch or overlap as much as possible.
So the component of fitness I'm covering is strength. And you might be wondering, what is strength? Strength is the ability of a muscle to exert maximum force under maximum resistance. How can this apply to everyday life? Well, first off, it decreases the demands of daily living, such as having to pick up heavy objects. However, muscle imbalances and strength imbalances, like between the quadriceps and the hamstrings, for example, can increase the chances of knee injuries. How do you assess strength? The main method of testing muscular strength is by performing a 1-rep max. In this case, I'm going to be doing a 1-rep max for the bench press. For your warm-up, you should first warm up your shoulders, as they are the main stabilizer of the movement. Afterwards, warming up using only the bar and gradually working your way up to the weight you believe you can push. Once the warm-up is finished, it's time to do your rep. Set up under the bar with a slight arch on your back and depress your shoulders. This will put them in a more protected position, especially under such heavy weight. Always ensure that you have a spar, just in case you fail. Increasing muscular strength is relatively simple. The principle of progressive overload is the idea of gradually increasing weight and increasing the number of reps under that weight, and then repeating the process.
Before we get into the FIT principle, we need to understand the acronym. FIT refers to frequency, intensity, type, and time. Beginning with frequency, this is going to determine how often you should work out depending on your fitness levels. For beginners, 1 to 2 days per week. For intermediate individuals, 3 to 4 days per week. And for advanced individuals, 5 to 6 days per week. After we determine how frequent we are working out in the gym, we can now determine our intensity. For beginners, you should start off with body weight workouts or lightweight lifting. For intermediate individuals, you should be doing 40 to 50% of your 1-rep max. For advanced individuals, you should be doing 60 to 70% of your 1-rep max. Now that we've determined our frequency and our intensity, we gotta figure out our type. There are 2 types of workouts: aerobic, which is vigorous workouts that require a lot of oxygen intake, and anaerobic, which are concentric and eccentric motions against resistance. Some examples of aerobic exercises are running, jogging, swimming, stairmasters, and cycling. For anaerobic, it is a little bit more in depth. You can break it down into 2 contraction groups, isotonic and isometric. Isotonic is when the muscle changes in length during resistance. For example, bicep curls, leg extensions, and good mornings. Isometric are muscles that do not change in length against resistance. For example, planks, wall sits, dead hangs, and plank pinches. For the last part of the FIT principle, we are working with time. We have just determined our frequency, intensity, and type, and now time is what makes the big difference. For beginners, you should be ranging your time in the gym for 15 to 30 minutes, no longer than an hour. For intermediate individuals, you should be spending 30 to 45 minutes, no longer than an hour. For advanced individuals, 45 minutes to an hour, no longer than 2. Now that we've covered all of the basics about the FIT principle, we will be moving on to body composition.
So first off, what is body composition? Body composition is the distribution and proportion of different tissue types throughout the body, i.e., how much of your body is made up of fat, muscle, and bone. There are various ways of measuring body composition, all of which yield an estimated fat percentage. Hydrostatic weighing is most commonly used in physiology labs and compares a person's regular weight to their weight when taken underwater. Because fat is more buoyant than lean tissue, comparing the two weights will give us an approximate fat percentage. Air displacement uses pressure sensors to determine the amount of air molecules displaced by someone sitting in an airtight chamber. By subtracting the air volume with the person sitting in the chamber from the volume of the chamber without a person in it, we can get an estimate of body volume. A DEXA scan is most commonly used in medical facilities and uses radiography to measure fat mass, fat distribution, and bone density. The DEXA scan is most commonly referred to as the most accurate method and hence is the standard for measuring body composition. Bioelectrical impedance is one of the more simple methods to administer, but is questionable in its accuracy. With this method, sensors are applied to different areas of the body and a small, weak electrical current is run through our system. The technique uses the idea that fat is a poor conductor of electricity and determines how lean a person is by how well the electricity is conducted through their system. The skin fold test is based on the idea that approximately half of our body fat is situated underneath our skin, i.e. subcutaneous fat. This method makes use of pressure calipers and takes measurements from 3 different sites on the body. For men, these sites are chest, abdomen, and thigh, and for women, these sites are the triceps, suprailium, and thigh. The suprailium is situated just above the iliac bone of your pelvis. Once the sum of all 3 sites has been added up, an average fat percentage can be estimated.
For my recap, I went over the fitness component of flexibility and even went further in depth about the FIT principle.
And for my recap, I did strength and body composition.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about muscular endurance. Muscular endurance is basically just the ability for your muscle to exert a force repeatedly over time. It's really important for like all daily activities like walking, sitting. It's really good for stabilizing your joints and just general health. The average American does about 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. The recommended is 10,000 steps a day, so this is really bad. So 27% of men and 19% of women, only that amount meet the physical guidelines. You can do any type of training for muscular endurance. Your free weights, machines. An example of a session, if you just need somewhere to start out or you have no idea even where to start, you could do goblet squats for 3 sets of 25, a plank, 3 sets of 60 seconds, a shoulder press, 3 sets of 25, a single arm dumbbell row, 3 sets of 25, and Russian twists, 3 sets of 30, all with 1 to 2 minutes rest in between. And this just is a full body workout. It's pretty simple stuff, all free weights. Lastly, nutrition is one of the most important things, really just as important as the actual exercise. You need to be having carbs. They are good for providing energy. So it's things like fruits, vegetables, whole grains. That's just going to give you like energy. Fats, well, you want healthy fats like nuts and seeds. They're good for like sustaining energy, so that's really good for muscular endurance. Protein for muscle recovery. Ideally, you want to be having like at least 30 grams of protein like half an hour after exercise. So you could just have like a protein bar, or like yogurt is a good source of protein. Meats also a very good source of protein. But yeah, and you want to be drinking a lot of water. To summarize, my 4 big things, if you're going to take away anything from this guide, is choose the right exercise. 2, fuel your body, track your performance, and lastly, consistency. Okay, so the test for muscular endurance is, well, for women, it's the modified push-ups. For men, it's the modified tricep dips. Obviously, I am a woman, so I'm gonna do the modified press-ups. So basically how it works is I'm gonna do press-ups, I'm gonna do as many as I can. Once I start like struggling, that's when like I can't count them anymore. So I just gotta do as many as I can for a set amount of pace. It's just a good way to see like where your starting position is. You're gonna have your hands shoulder width apart, knees on the ground, and feet up. Why would you do that? Stop the video!